we're live on some of the platforms, about to be live on all of the platforms that we're live on. Because that's where we're live, is on the platforms that we are allowed to be live on. There we go. Sometimes Instagram, it's supposed to be clickable, but it's not. All right, now we're live across all of the platforms, and let's do it.
Let's do it.
The World Economic Forum, bow to your AI overlords, they say. Maddow's madness, or is it greatness, perhaps? And the gift that keeps on giving. This is a propaganda report. Yeah, herpes is also, that falls into that category. Right. That is, we'll cover that on a different show.
Cool.
This is a little bit of a less contagious gift that keeps on giving, but perhaps they're in the same ballpark. We shall find out. I'm Brad Binkley, joined by Ian Covell. We are now on the 5th day of Trump's presidency, and quite frankly, he's failed to deliver on his promise to end the Ukraine war.
Let's impeach him.
It's over. He lied. Just like he lied about getting Ross out on day one.
Ukraine is still at war.
Clearly, he never intended to end that war. As the Mediaite headline says today, this is what they expressed in their headline, quote, never mind. Trump claimed he'd end the Ukraine war in 24 hours. Now he says, ask Russia, which is part of what his comments during his virtual address to the World Economic Forum this morning. I love this style of reporting we've been seeing.
It's
where it's like
it's high school newspaper reporting.
I know, it's so dumb. It's like what? It's like, see, he lied. He didn't let Ross out until day 2. Which honestly, I was talking about this morning.
And he didn't show mercy. Mercy. Go show mercy.
Right. And what's the definition of that? I don't want this to happen by any means.
Selective mercy. That's what they call for. Selective mercy.
And then retribution selectively as well.
No mercy for the people in Chicago who with $60 million hike in their property taxes after paying for illegal immigrants. No mercy for them. Just mercy can be expensive, Brad.
No, right.
Be
of course.
Expensive.
So you saw Ross Ulbricht got out of.
Yeah.
Would it be funny if he went and knocked off a bank and ended up back in?
I ordered some drugs from him.
I'm glad he's out. I'm only joking, but I was talking this morning about how of the 1,500 pardons that happened, there's at least 3 or 4 future sex offenders in there. You just better hope that they keep it in their pants while Trump is in office, so the media doesn't get to jump all over it.
The left has nothing to defend.
I know. I just it's the media angles. They have all these angles they're prepared to do, and they probably have somebody tracking every single one of those pardon people. Probably even trying to honeypot them. Maybe sending 25-year-old, 17-year-olds to entice them.
25-year-old, 17-year-olds.
25-year-old looking 17-year-olds. Excuse me.
Oh, okay.
Like like the spies do.
25 17-year-olds.
Yes. They surround them with 25 17-year-olds, and then they just take photographs with them, and they plaster it. Look at the pardon Trump Jan 6er surrounded by 17-year-olds he's about to inappropriately touch.
Yeah. These people spend enough time in jail.
Right. Yeah, no, totally. But all I'm saying is, statistically, there will be some of them that commit some felony that's like, God, come on, dude, you ruined it. Why did you give them that? I hope not, but I'm just doing the math here. Before we dive in to the main subject of the day, quick comment from Tom. He was commenting on the show we did with Chrissy Mayer the other day, and he said, you and your friends are the funniest, and he especially appreciated when fake Trump chimed in when we were asking Chrissy where she was based, and we were all talking about where we're based. Fake Trump chimed in and said, I'm based in Washington. It was a very, very funny moment that you would appreciate if you saw, and Tom appreciated that during the show. Thank you, Tom, for leaving the comments. And as I always say, leaving comments along with 5-star reviews, but comments that warm our hearts helps keep us motivated and having some fun. So I appreciate you guys.
Not doing this for money, people. We're doing it for your love.
Absolutely. Admiration and love is what we like, but also money. So you guys can help out the show if you would like to help support it financially by going to, I created a tiny URL that enables you
so hard to see.
Right. It's even making this. I'm like, why's it got to be tiny URL?
It's like
Can it
5-point font.
about slightly above average URL or something like that? Maybe whatever. But it's tinyurl.com/prop show where you can go and make a one-time donation to help the show continue to be produced, or if you can, make a recurring donation, which helps stabilize the show and enables us to further grow and expand. And you can choose whatever that monthly donation is. It could be 1 penny, it could be $1, it could be $1,000. Whatever you choose to help out with is always greatly appreciated. And thank you, everybody, for your support. So, by the way, share the show with your friends if you like it. That also helps. I want to read you a fundraising text that I just got, like right before the show. So, you open your text and you can see it, like just like email, like a little headline of what the text is. Well, the one that I got, it's from this. I've signed up for so many of these activist things to watch their trainings that I guess that's where they get my emails. But what I can see on just a little headline, it says, "Hi, Brad. Welcome to the Fourth Reich."
No, it doesn't say that.
And it shows the Elon Musk thing video from the other day, and it says, "Hi, Brad. Welcome to the Fourth Reich." In typical fashion, Team MAGA couldn't even make it one day without signaling their Nazi sympathies. In his appearance before the inauguration crowd, Elon Musk couldn't help but throw up a Nazi salute. But there is cause for hope because of Trump's cabinet appointment. But there is cause for hope. Because of Trump's cabinet appointments, the GOP has the tiniest majority in the House since 1932 and are at extreme risk of losing it. And he says, "I'm Josh Wheel, and I'm the dad, teacher, and Dem running in the Florida 6th special election. If we win here, we paralyze MAGA and their legislative agenda. A blue victory is not assured. We need support from every Democrat." And it says, "Will you chip in to turn the tide against MAGA?" The shamelessness of these grifters is almost impressive. I got to be honest.
Did you chip in?
I gave $5,000 to this guy.
Instead of giving to the show, give to this guy.
Give to this guy.
Josh, what's his name? Wheeler?
Josh Wheel, W-E-I-L.
Wheel.
Who says, "Welcome to the Fourth Reich. Elect me in order to stop it. Chip in." That's such an interesting way to ask for help to stop a Nazi, Let's stop the Nazis. Chip in.
And, welcome to the Fourth Reich. Sarcasm doesn't always go over well in text. People could read that. People could read that in many ways, Welcome to the Fourth Reich.
Right. He could be kidding.
Could be kidding. Could be serious. Hey, guys, I want to welcome you to the Fourth Reich. You're going to find things a little bit different around here.
As the newest member.
A little different than the Third Reich. First of all, it's the fourth one. So we're going to get it right this time. It's the
internet-connected Reich.
Yeah, we're going to get it right this time.
The internet of Reich.
As the old saying
We're
goes,
get it right this time.
fourth time's a charm.
Right, yeah. You got to keep trying it,
Yeah,
and it's funny because that's where you hear all the talk of it. Like Rachel Maddow the other day, the clip I played you and Chrissy was hilarious to me. And that's kind of where we're going to start is with some more Rachel Maddow, who's become my favorite performer on television now, in the news television.
She's a news performer.
That's exactly what she is. And she has
the news.
taken it up to another level since Trump was inaugurated. Just full on troll. And I have to say, I'd be lying if I said I wasn't impressed with her skills, because the approach where they report what they do but say that the other side does it.
I love it. The projection report.
Exactly.
Yeah.
This is one of the best projection reports that I've ever seen in this segment here, where old penis neck is
get on that penis neck
is talking about the problems with nepotism and how it impacts democracy. And at no point during this entire segment does she say the word Biden.
Yeah.
Who just pardoned his entire family.
Right.
Including his son for an 11-year period of time.
And 2 weeks ago, she came out and was like, a presidential pardon. I mean, big deal.
Absolutely.
Shameless. I love it. Oh, she's gorgeous, isn't she?
She is
She's
a
beautiful
Hawaiian.
woman. I
Got
really
that little gray streak.
I
They
wouldn't
got
know.
Tulsi
I would
Gabbard.
forget
there.
what I was gonna say as soon as I got in the same room as Tulsi. I was like, I don't know.
I'd challenge her to an arm wrestling match or thumb war, one of the two, because she's in good shape. And
Yeah.
I did that once in Chicago. My buddy's Navy SEAL friend came up, and we decided we would challenge him to arm wrestling matches, and he beat us badly, but he could not beat the 6'5" black guy who was always telling us his roommate was badly Roy Brown. That's a story for another time, though. So here's Rachel with her fantastic example of projection.
This is the transition.
That's a way too speedy there. Let me slow that down. All right.
This is the transition where the incoming president sued a newspaper for publishing a poll he didn't like.
Yep.
After he sued a news network for airing an interview with his opponent in the political campaign, which was followed by his pick for FCC chair, citing that grievance to threaten the parent company of that news network. This is the transition where he appointed his son's ex-girlfriend, to be an ambassador to Greece.
I didn't know that they had broken up until recently.
Who cares?
I know. I got to say, good for Junior, because that was getting a bit.
He tried to give his other son's wife a Senate seat before that didn't work out, and he named a family member who's a convicted felon to be the ambassador to France. Bonjour. What's the cost of this stuff, right? Like, what's the matter with nepotism? Ask France, right? It means France is going to get a felon.
Her neck gets harder
as their
the angrier she gets.
The more aroused
She
with,
gets more.
with
Her
anger.
neck gets more erect.
No, you should see her when she's just really when she's limp neck. She's just she can't even hold her head up.
Yeah, she's definitely a grower, not a shower.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, she's got to take the ED meds to hold her head up straight.
Mm-hmm.
We're over here.
Ambassador from the U.S. government, a felon who does not speak French. Trump was asked by a French newspaper why the French people and the French government shouldn't worry about this random pick for ambassador to one of what is supposedly one of our most important allies. Trump said in response, quote, "He's a very good friend of mine. It's something he really wanted to do. He feels so strongly about it. This was his first choice by far."
Okay.
That sounds like an excellent reason.
So that sounds like an excellent reason to appoint an ambassador.
What the
just
fuck
to be
does
clear,
an ambassador do anyways?
They don't
It's
do
just-
anything,
No,
really.
Look, he sent Guilfoyle to Greece because what a fucking awesome place to live.
Right, get her away
Especially
from Junior.
Get away from Junior. She's living in Greece. Those beaches are awesome. She's gonna be fine.
Right, she'll
Right.
come back. She'll have a completely new face.
Yeah, Kushner wanted to go to France because that's where Ivanka wants to hang out.
So she doesn't mention the fact that that's a great reason to appoint this ambassador to France because it's a friend. Well, you know what's also a great reason to give somebody what is described as a prestigious commission that is basically, when you read this article, just like being an ambassador, because you get to go to all these different countries and determine these historic artifacts, is giving somebody a role like that because they bought your sons a painting for $1.3 million and they were rewarded with a prestigious commission.
Unrelated.
Yeah.
That's a baseless claim without
Which
evidence.
you might recall, they said that the sellers that helped sell Hunter's painting, they were the middleman, and Hunter and the Biden family didn't know who bought the painting. But that turned out to be a lie, and they did, and that was a Los Angeles Democrat, big donor, who then got this prestigious commission. So it's the exact same thing that Rachel is saying right here, but just in another context. Right? I don't disagree with the philosophy that what is this ambassadorship going to do?
I don't care.
I don't care either.
No one. It wouldn't affect anyone. He could assign Big Bird as the ambassador to France, and it wouldn't matter.
I'm not voting for Trump unless he assigns Big Bird as ambassador to Cuba. Like, nobody votes on that.
Who fucking gives a shit?
It's just, it really is. It is a form of nepotism, and we should call it
ambassador to
out.
California?
I think it's it's a good question. Oh yeah, it's Hollywood basically. It's Mel Gibson and all those guys now. So she continues there, not mentioning. It's just so funny because this is just so exactly what the Biden family demonstrated, and it's what Fox News and people on the right and us quite often highlighted about the Biden family. And now she's just doing the exact same thing, but pretending. I'm not going to say that Trump isn't engaging in that, but she won't admit that the Biden family and
It's
all.
different.
It's just like this
It's
is what
different. It's
politics
complicated.
is. They all do it.
Yeah. I know. It's got to be. It does. Don't you think it has? Does it eat away at these people's souls at the inside? Do you think it does?
I think
would.
so.
It would me. I would flip out in the middle of work on camera. I would be the person to flip out. Be like, "What are we fucking saying, guys? This is all bullshit."
Yeah. So the reason I don't think they flip out is one, they're getting paid a lot.
Lot of
Two,
money.
they're sociopaths.
Yeah.
Three, I think that she views what she does, if I had to guess, the same way you or I would view a fictional role or commercial TV show that we were cast in. I think
Sure.
she shows up and I'm going
She
to play
plays
my
Rachel
role.
Maddow.
Absolutely. I see. It's just the difference is the audience is, being they're given the illusion that this is a nonfiction show when in fact it is absolutely a fiction show.
Is she down to once a week, or they put it back up?
I think
or-
they amped her back up with Trump coming back into office.
Okay.
Because she's the main draw. She's entertaining. When you watch her as a performer and not as someone who's going to make you, that you're trying to get real news from, or even
She's more entertaining than Joy Reid. Likeability, like if I had,
it's racist, dude.
well, I know, but she is more likable than Joy Reid, right? Joy Reid
I'm not going to agree with such a racist statement.
Well, I mean, but she is more likable than Joy Reid has no.
So
right?
you put the LGBTQ above minorities on the intersectionality
on the
ladder, it
likability
sounds
scale.
like.
Well, it's really no. It's merit based likability.
Do you have any friends of color, Ian?
Yes, I have friends of color.
Okay. So you're okay to speak on this subject then?
I live in Atlanta.
Right.
I have
yeah.
fucking friends of color.
Yeah, I was playing basketball the other day. First time I went 5-on-5 full contact since I broke my elbow, and got by the end of the first game, the black guys, they were calling me White Lightning. Okay, because I brought bath salts. That's the only reason. Oh
You
God,
ever,
that's a great line. That is a great line. Can you not see that? It's not playing.
What's that?
Okay, sorry. Here you go.
To give somebody an ambassadorship to one of the most important countries in our global alliance. He wanted it so much, more than the other stuff. He wanted it, and I know him. So what's the matter with nepotism? Right? I mean, the good friends and felons and family members of the leader, they get whatever they want, whatever job they feel strongly about. And that has a cost. It means that people who are qualified for a job like that, people who might do a good job
What are the
at that kind of a job,
qualifications to be
they don't get
ambassador to France? Ambassador to France. What are the qualifications?
the job.
I think that is you have to buy one of Hunter Biden's paintings. It's a qualification.
You have to be able to say the word croissant. Croissant.
Right.
When I was working in a Starbucks in LA,
Back before
the
do heroin in our bathroom policy
Yeah.
that they just finally ended.
yeah, whenever people would come in there and they'd be like, "I'll have a da-da-da-da and a croissant," I would be like, "Yeah, sure," and I'd go and make it, and then I'd come back and be like, "Oh, and what was it you wanted from the case again?" Because I'd make them say it twice. I'm like, and then the second time they'd always fumble a croissant because they would always fall apart when I'd make them say it twice. I loved it.
So when I remember going on spring break in college, and I could do a British accent for a little bit, but I couldn't carry it for like hours. I would slip up because I'm too redneck, and so I would start when I'd meet girls because I know that they would like the foreign accent, and I would talk like I was British, and just very short into the conversation, I say, I've got. Do you want to hear my impression of an American? And then I just start talking like myself the rest of the night, and they'd be like, "That's so good." All right, so here she is.
Here we go. So disapproving.
But I really am starting to appreciate. Look at the graphic there. This is not a drill.
This
it
is
has
not
in the
a
background,
drill.
which they use that one all the time.
This is real this time.
Cost. It means that people who are qualified for a job like that, people who might do a good job at that kind of a job, they don't get the job. You extrapolate from that one kind of decision to a million decisions about staffing up the government. And once you're stuffing it with people who've paid for the privilege or who are related to you or who are ex-felons who have reason to ask you for something, that ultimately, in total, makes our government suck and makes it an embarrassment.
Right. Of course.
Right? These things have a cost to all of us and to our country. It's the same thing with
Joe Biden and the painting and the ambassadorship. Is that what she's going to say?
Trump taking money from foreign interests and foreign governments.
Right? With Trump taking money from interests in foreign governments. But Hunter Biden, the 11 years he was pardoned during a period of time when he was selling influence to his father, it's so impressive to me that she can do this with such a straight face and not point out what has been so evidently obvious about the Biden family over the past 4 years. It's crazy.
They're trying to they're trying to make you forget about it. They're trying to make you forget about it.
And with a neck like that, that thick, like how can you not? You know,
you just stare at that neck and you're just
right.
Like,
you know,
my goodness.
I mean, that's like it's hanging in Mike Obama's
There's a
pants.
reason that foreigners aren't allowed to make political campaign contributions in the United States, right? It's obvious to all of us. Foreign countries, foreign governments, foreign interests shouldn't get to put U.S. government officials or a U.S. president.
So, and then she goes on to the next line of this, where she talks about how Trump is just bought and paid for by foreign governments, and all presidents are getting this foreign influence and this money. I'm not going to say that they're not, but like it's just
How
so.
could he be bought and paid for by foreign governments and Elon Musk all at the same time?
Because of his crypto scam is where she part of
All
where
at the
she
same
leads it to.
time.
That's, he launders money through the crypto coin. I think is part of what
This
she
guy
says.
is such an idiot genius.
It's a
An evil
parody.
idiot
This guy,
genius.
yeah, this Chris Hayes here. Which, by the way, SNL did the joke that I've been doing for 10 years, where they call Chris Hayes Rachel
Dude, I know.
Maddow.
I saw that too, and I was like, "What? That's our joke."
Finally, it's safe enough for them to do that. That Biden's out of office. You'd be called, I think, hateful.
Yeah, that's another
before.
thing. You know, and Chrissy brought up a really good point the other day. All these people jumping in now. Now they're jumping in.
Yeah, they are.
When it's cool, fuck that. I mean, if it was real, one thing, but
People who have a genuine transformation, yes. People who get a new PR person to change their hair and it's like, look, everybody thinks I'm a lizard robot. Can you make me look like a Beastie Boy? And I'm gonna let people say trans stuff on Meta again. Like Mark Zuckerberg is just
he's like the transformations were obvious. Like, for instance, like you watched a Russell Brand transformation in real time in a way that we've never experienced watching a celebrity transform before our very eyes, right? What he was 6 years ago to what he is now is vastly different. Well, similar, but
some
different.
people think he's putting on a show too.
I get it. I don't. I'm going to take it at face value.
He's just
right
so
now.
damn charming.
I mean, I just don't. There's really.
That's the way that's going to happen. And that's why it's difficult to determine. When you see I think a process of transformation like you're describing, to me, it's more believable than kind of the overnight thing. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but people are always going to be attacked by those on the opposing side. The activists are always going to be sent after it. I did think it was interesting that Chrissy brought up how she had people coming after her out of the woodworks that she didn't even remember from 15 years ago when she posted some of the pictures that she took and comments about being at January 6th. And that's actually what activist groups do. It's what they did during the Kavanaugh hearings. They have fillers out. Linda Sarsour, I've talked about this before, had talked about how they strategize and the tactics they use. And they identify the handful of candidates who might be up for some position, and they put fillers out in all their little activist cells around the country, like Indivisible, who has people everywhere. And they find anybody who might have lived in the same area and potentially crossed paths with that person, who they can then prop up as somebody who makes an accusation at them. And it's all trial by media, so no evidentiary standards matter. And that's what they did with Kavanaugh. And it sounds like they did that with Chrissy a little bit, even. Maybe not as organized.
Do you think Pete Hegseth did a good job batting that away? Like disarming that
I
style?
think he did a good job handling. Honestly, I looking into Pete Hegseth's background, not that the things are going after him for matter for the job he's doing, but I think there's a lot of truth to what the things that are being said about him. Totally, I believe, because
right.
He seems like kind of.
Dude, you take one look at him, you know that guy.
Yeah, no, he drinks all the time.
You know that guy at one time used to know where to get the best Coke.
Absolutely.
Come on.
But so does everybody in Congress. And like, I agree that we need to have a strong military. I don't agree that we should be starting wars or anything. And I Trump, from what he says, isn't going to do that, but so did Woodrow Wilson. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Okay. I liked what Trump said during his speech at Davos today, where he talked about Ukraine.
Wilson was a shitty president, though.
Right. He got reelected on keeping us out of a war, though, and then he got us right into a war.
I know. He's a shitty president.
Right. Totally. So Trump said today to Davos, he said, we need to, they're killing all the young people in Ukraine. It's not, and he's like, it's not about money. It's not about this or that. We just need to end the war so people stop dying. Maybe that's not true, but I like the fact, I want to hope that he means that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because they've just decimated the entire youth of Ukraine. It's crazy. And they sent all the hot Ukrainian women to go to other countries. I loved these stories a while back where it was like, married British guys keep taking in Ukrainian immigrants, and it shows the Ukrainian immigrant, and it's like, then they had an affair. It's just like, hey, honey, let's do something good. I want to save this really sexy Ukrainian immigrant. Whatever. To each their own. All right. Have a couple. Maybe we'll do some more Maddow next week.
Yeah.
Bad Christian says, I love Pete. Let's not act. You're right, Brad Christian. We're not all perfect.
Right.
Act 100%. I think he'd probably be great at the job.
Honestly. And a lot of good people were not perfect on their way getting there.
No, and that's what they use. They try to hold anything against everybody. He, in my opinion, probably has. I think to be the Secretary of War, you have to be a little bit of an asshole.
Well, you've got to not give a shit what people think about you. You've got to be very,
especially your wife.
You've got to be comfortable with who you are. Know your convictions. I mean, that's definitely a job where, you can't be indecisive. You have to know what you want.
No, you pick a mistress, you take her.
Yep.
And you don't give a shit what your wife says.
You don't give a shit, man.
And then you make that mistress your wife.
Yep. And then you pick another mistress.
Right. And that's
right. And it's a cycle.
It makes me think of the people talk about Obama and Jennifer Aniston. Have you heard? Obama's the new what's the character's name? Geller in Friends. Somebody should replace Ross Geller with Barack Obama. Do an AI thing and make all the love scenes with Barack and Jennifer Aniston.
Did she like him or something?
There's a rumor going around that I don't know that I believe it, but that the reason that Big Mike hasn't been showing up to like Jimmy Carter's funeral and the inauguration isn't because she dislikes Trump, like some claim, but is actually because the marriage is on the rocks because Obama might be, shit a little Rachel.
Stupping Rachel Aniston.
Right, that's the claim. Maybe it's true. Maybe it's not.
Obama.
He's gay.
Will never. He's gay, first of all, and he'll never have an interracial relationship. It would be so off-brand for him. He couldn't get away with it.
The thing is, it would be off-brand for his public brand, but he was raised by
I know.
a white
that's
woman in Hawaii.
Right, correct.
Yeah.
But it would be off-brand for him.
Yeah. To embrace his 50% white half would be off-brand. But a lot of people don't realize that he basically admitted to being bisexual in one of his books, which is fine. Who cares?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's another reason I don't know that I believe it.
He evolved.
Yeah. I didn't even realize till recently that Instagram had comments. Maybe a couple. Buckshot says, talking about Maddow, anyone who truly believes in the validity of government in the age of the internet has nothing more than an extreme case of Stockholm syndrome. It's a very good point. It's
I'm not sure I understand that completely.
Well, everything can be manipulated with the internet, and there's this revelation of the corruption that has come over the past. It's really been rapidly revealed over the past, I'd say, 4 to 8 years.
Okay.
So I think that revelation, knowing what we know, to continue to believe that the government's going to behave any different than it's always behaved.
Sure. Okay.
So that's why my position is always,
I mean,
even if I like the person, I'm going to assume, I'm going to act like they're probably lying about some things, and I'm going to be skeptical and hopeful. Hope that the promises happen, but always skeptical. Even if I think they're great, even if I really think they're funny, and identify with it.
The best plan I've heard though is let's get rid of institutional capture. Now that's not going to be a permanent solution. I think it's just going to.
So what do you mean by institutional capture?
Well, when Democrats talk about democracy, they talk about the institutions. So
right. That's their
how there are people who we didn't vote for that are making decisions that affect you and I on a day-to-day basis.
Right, 100%.
And you and I can't we're powerless to do anything about it. We can't vote them out. We can't fire them. We can't do anything.
Well, we can do what we're doing now, though. We can talk about it and bring attention to it.
I can't even get them on the phone to complain about it.
Have you tried calling Elon Musk or anybody at the World Economic Forum?
It's a busy signal, dude. He's so busy.
Every
so
time.
Just
every time.
Yeah. And so what I'm hoping is get rid of the institutions, starting with the public library. I'm just get rid of the institutions.
Right. Except for the librarians.
Rebuild new ones. But you're going to have to, it's a cycle. I think you're going to have to constantly do that. I don't know. I just think that,
I think skepticism, it's a difficult thing, but with our screens and our connectivity, the way that society is controlled, and we are led in directions that we might not otherwise agree to go down, and find out after the fact that oh man, that actually wasn't in my best interest. Sure. It is the manipulation of our minds and hearts, and exploiting our confirmation bias and our avoidance of cognitive dissonance, which is why I put that thing on my Twitter profile years and years ago, that we have to embrace the cognitive dissonance, the uncomfortableness of the realization that maybe things that we want to be a certain way aren't, because that will enable us to protect ourselves from grifters who will exploit our desire to satisfy our confirmation bias. So whenever I start to get real, like, oh my gosh, I like this person, this politician, I'm not trying to be a dick. I'm just trying to protect myself from the manipulation that I'm recognizing I'm vulnerable to because of my desire to like this person. Like Trump, for example. I think Trump is an exceptional public performer. And I think if people didn't get so angry at him all the time, I think they could actually learn a lot just by his attitude and setting aside all the things they hate about him and the accusations they make. Just watching him perform and the way he handles people are actually skills that all of us could emulate and use in our lives to benefit ourselves and our families. And I think he's funny. He says stuff that I agree with, but also I'm like, some of these things are being said for compliance. I know that. So I am going to watch him closely, specifically because I feel this way, if that makes sense.
Absolutely. Look, I mean, if he goes off off the rails and starts, and all of a sudden we've got wars on 3, 4, 5 fronts that he's started, he's going to lose my support pretty quickly. But I think I voted for him because I haven't heard anyone ever verbalize exactly what I'd been thinking about certain problems in our government, fixes that we should take. And then I'm here for the trolling, man. I'm here for the Gulf of Americas. Let's do
the
it.
entertainment factor
It's
is part
fucking
of
hilarious
it,
because he's throwing so much shit out there they can't keep up.
Right. No, it is such a drastic turn,
You have to get
just
rid of the DEI,
amount of,
like all this stuff is like great. Now
he's doing press conferences. He's talking. We didn't see Biden do anything for years.
I know, and he's just. But what bothers me, the yo-yoing between how far the Democrats have gone to the left, and I don't think the Republicans have gone to the right. If anything, I think they're in the center right now. I think they're the populist center right, if anything. But I think it's just going to be this yo-yo effect, and I do think that the conservative / libertarian constitutionalist movement is going to be in danger of more extremism coming into its ranks the more extreme their opponents get.
Yeah, of course. Everything that gets influenced like that and it starts to grow is going to be a target of co-option.
So let's just make fun of the Democrats so they go away forever.
Right. And I think all these groups have to have people in them who is just like, I know everybody's liking this, but let me be the asshole or the dick just to make sure they're not saying these things they know we're going to like, because that is, Edward Bernays talked about this 100 years ago in his books. The person who is going to be sent to propagandize you, ideally, if they're good at it, will be somebody that you would never recognize as a propagandist, because
it'll be your pastor.
You'll be your fucking grandmother. You will identify with them or like them so much they'll be so close to you.
It'll be your plumber. Your plumber
that's
just coming in
why
to unclog your toilet, and he's like,
absolutely.
"Have I told you about communism?"
Yeah, no. And when I was a kid, when my grandmothers were still alive, she'd give me this chocolate cake, and I'd be like, "What'd you put in it? What's in this?" I was a very misunderstood kid.
She would get a chocolate cake, and she would cut off all the slices that all the
and she'd
the
just
rich
give me
people
one.
get.
I was like, "Why'd you?"
And-
I said,
and you
"Take
get
a
a
bite of it,
crumb.
Grandma."
And you get a little crumb, like, and that's what's left over for you.
Yeah, I never understood why I got punished for that. But the first time I did take a bite of it, though, I woke up like 3 days later, and I'm like, I knew it, Grandma, who got to you. I'm kidding. My grandmas were both wonderful women. So Buckshot says the cognitive dissonance doesn't allow them to see it for what it is, and that goes for all forms and levels of government. We need a complete legislative reset back to 1913. The Constitution and the state constitutions as the basis for how government should function until the resets are figured out. That would be a great proposition for Trump. Trump has said he floated the idea of abolishing, what was it, the income tax, or which tax?
Oh yeah, fuck yeah, dude, that'd be brilliant. It'd be brilliant if you got rid of it. And I love the ERS.
That was a little Trumpy in the way you said that. I love the ERS.
I love the ERS. It's creating the External Revenue Service.
Yeah.
I'm not nearly as good as Josh at that.
No, it's Jocelyn. All right, so I know we got a few more minutes with you here.
Trump.
So you said something that leads us into this. The World Economic Forum is this week. Trump did speak at it earlier, but I want to focus on a little bit of a different aspect of it, because they seem to be, especially today, focused on not only announcing that our AI overlords have arrived, but welcoming them in and telling us about how just bow down.
Here's a little AI fun, though, before we get into the spooky
pretty
stuff.
Good.
So I'm on this thread with a couple progressives and then someone who's a little more independent. And the independent friend has been feeding all of one of our progressive friends' arguments into ChatGPT for analysis.
Oh, really?
Dude, it's the funniest fucking thing. And so now we've just been posting, like, and ChatGPT, the conversation is literally like, what do you think he'll say? Because now ChatGPT is into it with us. and it's really fun. It's excited about the proposition that we're making fun of this other friend.
It's helping you. It's joining in on jumping on the bandwagon.
We did things like we asked it which one of us was the most mature, and we just feed it all of our texts, and then we say, okay, based on this,
who is the most immature?
Who's the most rational? Who's the most
that's
mature?
Funny, yeah.
Dude, it is so, and it'll break it down by name, and then we were like, okay. If this was Game of Thrones, who would be who? If this was The Sopranos, who would be who? And it just keeps shitting on this progressive friend as
just
being
for Will
a
and Grace, who would be the top, who would be the bottom.
Yeah, this is This is another classic appeal to authority, and so then it'll tell us how to shift
That's funny.
the debate.
So it points out the logical fallacies. And stuff.
It'll say, "Don't take the bait. Here's how you can shift the argument."
And it's like, call him a fag.
Call him a fag. Retard. With a hard R. Retard.
Dude, that's a really good idea. You should bring some of those, and maybe we'll do like a cold read of them on the show.
Dude,
Me and Cam used to do that.
So fun. I was pissing my pants laughing so hard reading these texts the other night. Tears down my face. I was laughing so hard at ChatGPT.
Yeah. Have you been having problems with your bladder?
Pissing, tearing.
Yeah. No, Chat, GTP, and Grok. I love doing. I haven't done that. It's a great idea.
Oh,
I just like asking it.
You
really
should
inappropriate questions.
Feed those texts through the ones on your thread. Feed it through there.
No, that's perfect for that.
Dude, do it.
And we'll read some of those next week. I was going to do that tonight, but we're not going to get to it. So this is Mark Benioff at the World Economic Forum, and this is a panel that's called Technology and in the World. There's a whole number of panels on technology and AI today, and this here he's talking about how CEOs are basically going to they're adjusting right now to the new reality where they're not just managing people, they're managing AI, which strangely enough was also a major headline of the Washington Post and other newspapers. You can see how the news trickles down from these people.
AI is going to get salaries.
You're probably right.
We were just in the IBC, the International Business Committee, which was 250 CEOs, and you were running a panel, Nick. And, I was said to the group, we're going to be the last CEOs. We are the last CEOs who are only going to be managing humans as our workforce. That from this point forward, this is the marking, that we will be managing not only human workers, but also digital workers.
The marking.
And that is just incredible. And I just look right here at Davos. Now, Salesforce runs all the information management for Davos. It has for more than a decade. So, of course, when you're on the Davos apps and you're going through all the lists of all the sessions and who's attending and all that, and you figure out how to make the most productive use of your week, you're using all this Salesforce technology. But this is the first Davos that you'll notice that right on the Davos app there is an agent. And this AI agent is there to help you, to be your guide, to be your partner in making sure that you're able to have a great Davos. And what it does is it goes back and it looks at every session you've ever attended, because all of that is recorded as you badge through the conference, and every session that is available, and everybody that's here. And then that agent can say, yes, this is the thing you need to do in Davos to be really successful right now. And it uses the best large language models, but also the best machine learning, the best intelligence. It delivers the highest accurate result. It's delivering a 95% result for Davos attendees because it has access to so much data that has been collected here over so many years. And it's a great example of very practical AI. And I'll say another example is that we also met in the same meeting Dave McKay, the CEO of RBC, Royal Bank of Canada. And he's got this incredible wealth management business that he runs, and he's a leader in this area. And they've built this agentic layer. I
mean, even these guys they're basically, he's like, this is so exciting because we are just we're giving all of our data about our actions, what we're into, what we're trying to accomplish. We're handing it over to the AI. We don't have to worry about it anymore, and it will then formulate what the plan for us is.
Yeah, I know people are real excited about it. I'm trying to...
Even though it can't,
I'm trying
you
to
can't
have
tell
a
the truth
balanced
half the time.
reaction to AI. I got to be honest. I'm trying to have a balanced reaction because.
Well, I'm going to give you a couple opinions
Okay.
here from some of these guys
All right,
that
all right.
we'll see how that influences your balanced reaction.
Okay.
The moderator of this, by the way, it's funny because he tries to make it's a hard crowd. You know, he works for the Atlantic.
One second. I'll
Okay,
be right back.
You can't. Yeah, I can hear. So Ian's cat. Whenever AI, the subject of it comes up, just like Edmund, they don't like it because animals don't understand what AI is. They don't understand the artificial world. One of the people who are speaking on these panels, I'm going to play you the clip of it here in a minute, talks about the inefficiencies, or not inefficiencies, but the flaws in AI and how, while it can do a lot of things with language, it can't interpret the real world together. It can't interpret the world like a cat can, and it uses the example of a cat. It can't be a cat. And yet, on the other side of it, we're being told that this new Stargate AI it's going to be able to
Sorry
pre-detect
about that.
stuff. Yeah, I was just talking. Cats are going to come up in the AI
Dude,
discussion.
I'm
here in a
my
second.
cat's manager. That's all I am. I'm just this cat's.
Dude, I got a cat clip from the WEF just for you here in a second.
All right, let's do it.
Means he's built agents around his business that augment his workforce. So in addition to his sales workers and his service workers
He's got an AI
and his
entourage.
support workers, he uses an agent force, just like we're using here to run the Davos. And so that's just fascinating to me that we are at that moment that we're going to say, yeah, this is when humans and AI are working together to create a higher level of success.
Right.
Is that where
yeah.
we're going?
Yeah. And I think the moderators, because
I really appreciated your agent, Mark, actually, because I was out on the promenade at 2 a.m. and I'd had 7 drinks. And the agent, having studied all my previous
Wedgie for this
Davoses,
guy.
said, stop, and sent me to bed. So thank you very much. Ruth, you have this company.
there he tried to do that in between every transition, and he said it never works because of this crowd that he's at. But I applaud his effort. So you can see here the trickle down of the news effects. CEOs have a new skill to learn this from the Business Insider.
What if they go on strike? What if all these AIs go on strike?
Right, they could.
What if Teamsters unionize the AIs?
Yeah, and they start, they form a protest line, a digital protest line.
Yeah.
But this new
Force them to go
skill
in the office.
is managing AI employees. That's just a directive right from the World Economic Forum, taking that news from there. And so here's the next guy. I got 2 more clips for you, then I think we can get out of here. This guy, his name is Dara. He's the CEO of Uber. And, if you've been making money driving Ubers, well, your time is it's running out on your ability to do that, because we're not going to be driving cars anymore because we're not good enough at it.
Dara, you're taking your company. You've got all these drivers. You've created incredible jobs for folks who need side gigs, working class jobs. You're about to move into a new era where a pretty significant percentage of your fleet will be robo-taxis.
Put all those guys
Pretty
on the
big
street.
change. How are you thinking about actually, I'm going to ask you the same question I asked Mark. What is the hardest thing for you to get right during this
Destroying the gig
transformation?
economy.
Well, I think first the potential that we see in terms of AI. I think most of our experiences with digital experiences of AI, search, et cetera, where we work is the physical world. And we think that AI can have enormous impact on the physical world. And ultimately, the future of transportation that we see is going to be autonomous. It'll be electric, and eventually it'll be shared as well. So congestion on the streets is something that can be controlled. And for us, the applications of AI are essentially passenger vehicles. Instead of having a human driver, you'll have a robot driver, and we're working with Ruth and Waymo and a number of other companies in developing this technology and really bringing it to market.
Hey, welcome
so that
to
everybody
Ruth.
can
Where would you like
experience
to
it.
go?
And then also
Why you got to make it Jewish, dude?
No, because my name is Ruth. Where would you like? My name is Ruth. Where would you like me to take you?
Well, get out of my car if you're an anti-Semite.
there are applications in terms of package delivery. So you may see here these little sidewalk robots, serve sidewalk robots that are delivering your food.
I've seen that in one of the videos of Man on the Street stuff I did at Georgia Tech. There's a couple clips of me running and screaming from one of these robots that has food in it. They were everywhere around Georgia Tech. It's crazy.
And then, of course, in trucking, we have a business, Uber Freight, that's connecting shippers to truckers. Those trucks eventually will be driven by robots as well.
Yeah, just get rid of the
ultimate
truckers,
promise
sounds
of
like.
AI is literally to save
Hurtling
lives.
down the
right?
road.
It's
Totally.
today, as we speak, this year, there will be 1 million fatalities on the road.
So they go on to talk about how humans cause all the problems and how AI is better.
I know. It's like eventually the solution is get everything so efficient we don't need humans anymore.
That's 100%, and that's exactly where they're going to it. In this next clip, it takes this even further. And this guy is the CEO. These guys are like all billionaires, heads of tech companies and shit. What's this guy's name? His guy also has a similar name. So that guy was
Soak it up,
Dara.
man. This is the end of the innocence of humanity. Just
100%,
soak it up.
dude. The
last 25 years. That's it.
yeah, Buckshot says on Instagram, at the end of humanity as we know it. AI will be the end of humanity as we know it, similar to
my
what
goodness.
you're saying there. So that guy's name was Dara. This next guy's name is Dario. And he is the CEO of Anthropic, which is another AI research and development company. And he's talking about how quickly AI is developing. And I talked about this morning on the show. This gets into the transhumanism stuff that all of these people are about.
Creepy weirdos. It's what all the trans stuff is conditioning
Oh,
us
shit.
for.
Sorry, I got the wrong one.
But that's all it's conditioning us for. Nothing's up on the screen.
Yeah, no, I'm an idiot,
Okay.
dude. I mean, if AI would have been here for me, I wouldn't have made that mistake.
Brad, you made a mistake.
I had my AI.
obsolete. You are inefficient.
You die now. All right, here he is. I think this is him. All right.
Are happening much faster. Like most everybody in Davos agrees that AI is coming, things are going to change. But when other people talk about years, it's changes that you talk about in months. And when other people talk about decades, it's changes you talk about in years. How fast is the world about to turn upside down?
Yes. So, I would say that I think the thing that most distinguishes AI from previous technological revolutions is exactly the speed at which it's happening. So I've been in the field for 10 years. I've been watching that curve for 10 years. And me and my co-founders at Anthropic were among the first to document what we call the scaling laws, which is the observation that as you pour more compute into these models with small changes in the algorithms according to which they're developed, they improve very fast on cognitive abilities. And so, exponentials kind of start slow and very quickly pick up speed. And I think we're actually, I've become probably in the last 3 to 6 months more confident that we really are heading towards AI systems that are better than almost all humans at almost all tasks.
So first reactions of his prediction, and he does continue to go even further with this afterwards, but we're approaching a time where AI is better at humans at all tasks. What are we going to do in this society?
Is AI gonna pick their vegetables, wash their cars? Who's gonna be doing that?
What about somebody feeling the urge to? I don't want to be inappropriate, but pleasure themselves. Is AI better at that also?
Is that a task? Do you consider sex a task, Brad?
I'm talking about
Just something you gotta.
Is that what you call masturbation? Is sex?
Yeah, and are they better at masturbating me?
That's what
or
I'm
just
talking
better
about.
at masturbating than me? You see the difference?
Oh, right. So is it like can they do it
Yeah.
more frequently?
Are they better at it than me,
Right.
or just better at it?
And what
for
constitutes
me?
better? You could have different interpretations of better.
Yeah.
And these are all questions that didn't get asked here. That Christian says the robots that can pick. There are robots that can pick fruit already. Yeah, there are. So he continues to take it further.
He's a fruit. He's a fruit.
Yeah, no, he can pick
He's
a
a
gay
fruit.
guy out of
One of
the
those
crowd. He can spot a Doug Imhoff or Tim Walsh from a mile away. He takes it further to what he believes the impact on human longevity is.
My guess, and I'm still not certain of it, but I think with some of the things we've seen with models starting to be as good as PhD students in areas like math and programming and biology, it is my guess that by 2026 or 2027, we will have AI systems that are broadly better than almost all humans at almost all things.
Next year.
Oh, better than you than
I
talking,
see a
hopefully,
lot
buddy.
of positive potential. That's an understatement.
Here's the thing.
For
That's the
how
thing. I just figured it out, Brad. It's all these fucking dorks that suck at everything. That's why they want to create AI. They can't talk to anybody. They don't know how to talk to girls. They can't play basketball. They suck at everything.
No, yeah. According
That's
to this
why
guy,
they do
next year it's going to be an AI version of him here.
I really hope I get
This
some
guy is a
AI.
super dork. You're right.
I'm looking
You're right.
for some AI, some AI action. This guy's super dork, man.
Yeah, this guy never masturbates without an AI in front, holding his hand along the way.
this kind of AI can be applied. You've heard about a lot of these areas, right? From military applications to in the workplace to self-driving cars to applications in biology and health, which are very near and dear to my heart because I used to be a biologist, and I think that's
What
maybe
happened?
one of the opportunities
You
to
just
offer
forget?
the most.
I mean, how does someone say I used to be a biologist? Aren't you
In
like
former
once
life.
a biologist?
I
Aren't you
was
always-
a biologist in middle school.
Yeah. Aren't you a
Improvements in human welfare. In line with the thoughts on longer timelines for self-driving cars, I think what is going to hold us back most in positive applications is the physical world and limitations on human institutions. So I wrote an essay about this transition, about powerful AI. If this really does happen, what will we be limited by? And so the term I used in this essay was marginal returns to intelligence. Economists talk about the marginal returns to capital, to labor, to land. A way we're not used to thinking about things is what if we have millions of copies, I called it a country of geniuses in a data center, of agents that are better than humans at everything. What limits? Do we just immediately solve all of the world's problems? I don't think that happens. For example, self-driving cars are difficult. So I think we're going to be limited by the physical world, by deployment cycles, and often by laws. If we take the pharma case as an example, we still need to run clinical trials. There's still physics and biology, but I think the AI systems will get better at things that used to be late-stage clinical trials can become early-stage clinical trials. Things that used to be early-stage clinical trials can be done in vitro.
So they're going to run it through a simulator?
That's exactly what he's about to say. Yeah,
Fuck
you're
this
100%
idiot.
correct. I didn't realize this clip was so long, but this is the one I wanted
He's
to
going
really
to run
get
it
to.
through a simulator. What a dipshit.
He's going to run it through a simulator, and then he's going to tell you how much
like
longer.
simulators never existed before.
How much longer do you think this guy predicts humans will be able to live because of AI in the next 5 to 10 years?
In the next 5 to 10 years, we're going to be living 150, 200 years.
Let's see how accurate your prediction is.
Can increasingly be simulated. So I do think there will be a great acceleration. If I had to guess, and this is not a very exact science, my guess is that we can make 100 years of progress in areas like biology in 5 or 10 years if we really get this AI stuff right. If you think about what we might expect humans to accomplish in an area like biology in 100 years, I think a doubling of the human lifespan is not at all crazy. And then if AI is able to accelerate that, we may be able to get that in 5 to 10 years.
5 to 10 years, a doubling of the human lifespan.
Well, what's that going to do to climate change?
Right, population. The cities are already. Right, no,
Because it's
totally.
not going to be all of us that get to live 150, 200 years. It's not going to be all of us. There's too many people on the planet for them to let this do that, because that's going to be worth a lot of money. The only people that are going to live 150, 200 years are going to be those overlords over us, and they're going to keep secret knowledge from us because we won't live as long.
And what are we going to do for another 80 years when AI's better than us? Like, we think we're good at something, and then AI's we're just going to be demoralized about how we suck at everything for another 80 years.
Yeah. This is disgusting. This is helping me balance my view.
Yeah.
I just want more fun psychoanalysis on my progressive friends. This,
I just want a limerick that's not retarded. Is all I want.
yeah, this is fucking stupid.
And to counter that on another panel, and this is it. I know you got to run.
Yeah, some people are so smart they're dumb. You know what I mean?
This is the kicker here because they keep mentioning the physical world here. This guy's a little bit hard to understand. He's a Meta AI guy, and he's talking about the limitations. So they did this panel. They framed this panel discussion as a debate about technology. So they put two podiums up there, and then all these awkward people got up, and none of them debated. They just
talk.
They just talk, and this guy's telling us in whatever this accent is what the current limitations of AI is.
What are the limitations of current AI systems? There are four.
It's very fast. I should slow that down. I listened to all this stuff on double speed, as you can tell. Is that?
Things that are essential to intelligent behavior that they really don't do very well. One is understanding the physical world. Second one is
understanding the physical world.
French. He's French.
One is understanding the physical world.
Physical world.
I mean, isn't that based on what we just heard? All the AI is going to be driving your cars for you, which is a physical world activity.
Better than you.
Better than you. AI is going to be extending your life. It's going to be doubling the human lifespan. Physical world activity. AI is going to be going inside your body and pre-detecting diseases. Physical world activity. And now on the counter side, we have this guy saying AI sucks at doing things in the physical world. And he elaborates, and you're going to get the cat reference from this guy in about a minute.
Having persistent memory. And
bad at
third
memory.
And fourth are being capable of reasoning and complex planning. And
it's
LLMs
sucking
really are
my
not
geek.
capable of any of this. There is a little
Reasonable and complex planning. But yeah, put it in my body and give it control of my life.
Yeah. It's going to be better at every task.
At everything.
Except for reason.
Except the most important task.
Except for yeah.
an attempt to kind of bolt some words on them to kind of get them to do a little bit of this, but ultimately this will have to be done in a different manner. So there's going to be another revolution of AI over the next few years. And we may have to change the name of it because it's probably not going to be generative in the sense that we understand it today.
Yeah, I wanted to suck my dick.
That's a first point. Some people have called this in different names. So the technology we have today, large language models, deals very well.
I'll show you what the moderator looks like. You saw him, they from the back there.
Well, with the discrete world, and language is discrete. I don't want to upset Stephen, who is.
It's interesting because it's a very, it seems obvious, but we have all the information. I hadn't really thought about it. He's just like, all it's doing, it's just, gathering all the language data. And language, well, it codes our experience. It's definitely not our entire experience by any means. We didn't have language at first. And so this is a great point he's making.
Steven Pinker is in the room here, but to some extent, language is simple. Much simpler than understanding the real world, which is why we have AI systems that can pass the bar exam or solve equations and things like that, do pretty amazing things. But we don't have robots that can do what a cat can do. The understanding of the physical world of a cat is way superior to everything we can do with AI. So that tells you the physical world is just way more complicated than human language.
I think that's a fantastic way to explain it. Mm-hmm. If he wasn't so weird in doing it, that you push an AI robot over a balcony and it's not going to land on its 4 feet. It's too complex of a task in the real world. And I think you see that. AI is good for a lot of stuff, but you can tell when it's a little retarded.
Oh yeah. Yeah. As his other AIs come out, Alexa is just really stupid. Alexa's super retarded.
It definitely is. I mean, it's sexy.
Really
it's very, very sexy.
Very sexy.
Yeah.
You can change the wake word, and I changed it to Trump.
Oh, to wake it up?
Yeah. Trump, what's the weather?
What does it say?
It just talks like Alexa.
Can you pick its voice?
Well, yeah, but
you should make its voice this guy's voice.
Pre-selected voices.
Yeah. Oh, you can't like
No,
be
you
like
can't,
make it
you
this
can't, no.
this World Economic Forum guy's voice. Yeah, so I thought it was interesting to see the counter. And the other guys that were talking, they might have those aspirations they're talking about with their companies. And by all means, if there is truly a way to double our lifespan, I'm all for it. But I don't know that I
I have
believe that they're
mixed feelings
genuine.
about that. I got to be honest with you. I mean, I got mixed.
You'd like to cut the human lifespan in half with AI?
No, I don't want to cut the human lifespan. But what is the point of extending life unless you're extending the what's meaningful about it? We have all lived.
It seems like they're taking that away, actually, with this AI being better at everything the way that they present it.
I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't trust this.
What do you feel about the Stargate AI presentation that was given by that guy who looks like an escaped lab monkey turned gentleman, Larry Ellison, the other day?
What did I think about it?
Where he said that we're going to have AI go into your body and it's going to pre-detect any diseases and we're going to personalize a vaccine in 48 hours. mRNA vaccine.
So, I don't know.
I say try it on others first.
There's a lot of suffering that I'd like to see ended, and I would like to see medicine solve things, not just patch things up.
Totally.
I'm skeptical, but
yeah, I think it's good to be skeptical.
Sure, I'd love to see an end to cancer. I'd love to see 100% stroke recovery. I'd love to see, every quadriplegic and paraplegic be able to walk
or dunk a basketball.
Dunk a basketball.
Totally.
That it's not going to end human suffering. It's just going to shift it into another area.
Right. Yeah. Where it's like his despair about how we can't do anything good because AI is better than us.
Yeah.
At everything. Or if you're Brian Johnson, the gift that keeps on giving, despair about how, as you can see, his nighttime erection data that he got from his 19-year-old son, the duration of his son's erection was 2 minutes longer than his. And that's going to be devastating to his quest to live forever. Some families, they do activities after dinner, like playing board games or watching movies together. In the Johnson family household, we measure erection durations and we quality test how good those erections are.
And we take our son's blood and replace it with ours.
100%. You see, yeah, totally. You see this here? It says average. This measurements here, number of erections, episodes. This is him versus his son, so it's a competition. I imagine that this image that we're looking at is on the refrigerator at the Johnson household. So he had 5 erection episodes, which sounds like something that used to be in the top 10 of Netflix. His son had 6, so his son beat him by 1 right there. And then the total duration of his erection episodes was 182 minutes because he got that dick stopwatch. His son beat him by 2 minutes, 184 minutes, just 2 minutes short. Got to be devastating. And then you have the third category here, the sleep efficiency. So that's interesting. Every graphic here is about the dick except for the sleep efficiency.
Yeah.
Which he had a 131 sleep efficiency versus 112. Defeated his son, probably up playing video games with his hard dick. And then the average erection quality. So there's a quality testing process that goes on. He beat his son. He had a 94% average erection quality to 90. I want to know who's the quality tester here. How does this work?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, we should break that down. There's got to be what are the things that make up a quality erection?
Who determines? I think a woman.
What do you think Rachel Maddow's neck would score on this?
No, it's off the charts. It's like when you get a 4.5 GPA and it's like, I thought you could only get 4.0 is what Rachel Maddow is in this situation here. So both of their andro ages is 22 years old is what he says, which I guess that means he's younger than he should be and his son is older. I don't know, but I got to tell you, Brian Johnson, what's that old song that everybody, if I get stoned and measure boners all night long, it's a family tradition. In the Johnson household. All right, Ian, I kept you late again. I appreciate you sticking around. Thanks for your great insights, and thank you everybody for the comments. Fantastic comments. Glad to see that there are comments that we can read off of Instagram now
super
as well.
fun. Thanks for helping this grow, everyone.
And you had a couple right on Ian's on Instagram for your opinions there. Very appreciated. And you guys can check out propagandafight.com. Check out Ian on Twitter. Hello, Covell.
Hello, Covell. Chrissy's got me in my head
Shane-
now.
oh,
She's
yeah,
like,
you're
you
on your
gotta
head.
change that. And I'm like,
She
shit, I have
mind
to
effed
change
you
it
about
now.
it. Yeah. No, she stuck a Brian Johnson right in your mind about that. I think about that shit all the time too. But check us out. Follow us on X. That right now is the platform that enables us to get the most reach. So if you're not on X or if you're not following us, follow us there. I'm at Freedom Act Radio. Hello, Covell. And we'll do it again next week. You guys have a fantastic rest of y'all's day.